I look at it this way, there's a plan, I believe, and I believe it's ultimately God's plan, like the prophets have spoken, and the men, if you not to get all conspiratorial about things, but I believe there's good guys that are working for God on and there's a plan to and you see it being played out. He's doing all sorts of things, like you said. At least we have two genders again. I mean, are we allowed to say that
Yeah,
on YouTube?
that's a big step. I mean,
Yeah,
because President Trump has appointed a couple of homosexuals to his cabinet. Scott Bessent, who is the cabinet minister, the Department of the Treasury. Rick Grinnell is a special envoy. So, you've got to understand. I believe, and I've always believed that President Trump is God's anointed. I believe that
yeah,
President Trump from the very
yeah,
beginning. But so was David. King David was God's anointed, and he made some
yeah.
mistakes too.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yep.
and there are other kings in history in the Old Testament. King Nebuchadnezzar, King Cyrus. They were both men that did not acknowledge, at least initially, did not acknowledge God in any way. They were all into their own gods, but God used them, and He raised up those countries.
Yeah.
He raised them up to be great countries too. So.
Well, I noticed him talking about God more. I mean, he did in his first term too, but you can tell, like, when they tried taking him with that
Yeah.
bullet, I mean, that really shook him, and I think he really sought the Lord. I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like God is really moved on
I'm
his
sure
heart, and
he
he's
did.
getting there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure he
yeah,
did.
yeah,
So getting back to the Constitution, but Curtis, what we're really about is to look at the Constitution, actually any document or anything in our lives, really. What kind of television we watch, or where we send our kids to school. We should look through a scriptural lens. What does Scripture say about these different things? And as far as the Constitution is concerned, the U.S. Constitution has goals. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. All of those are worthy goals, but each one of them has a biblical principle attached to it. For example, I'll just take a couple of them.